Hey, what's going on, family? Back in the building. Yes, for another one on OhnahjiU Saturday in the building. What's going on, family? How we doing? 10 a.m. PST. Yes. What is it? March 28th already? Hey, March is over. That's crazy. That's crazy. We're here, day 223. Man, going crazy on this daily stream journey. But yeah, on OhnahjiU Saturday, baby, our longest running segment. We've been rocking these since 2022, y'all. February 2022. It's been a good time. You the my guy in the building. W first. It's good to see you, family. What's the word? But yeah, I got my Dina Communications, Boss 2.0, also in the building. Oh, I think I lost. Oh, did I lose everybody? Is it just me? No, there we go. Boss in the
I was like,
building.
no,
No,
are we?
no, it was on my side. I'm glitching
Oh,
out.
I got
So
scared. I was like, wait a minute.
for sure. No, you good. You good. That's all me. But yeah. You just in the building. It's good to see you, family. Hey, Zyro in the building. Yes, W family. What's good? Being boss for sure, for sure. Dina Combs, boss 2.0. Hey, right hand of the U. What's going on, fam? How we doing this weekend? How's the weekend starting off? How's it Saturday? What's the word?
Saturday is good. I'm not gonna lie. I woke up like an hour ago.
Okay, for sure.
It's been a week. It's been a week. Like
Yeah.
it's just been a week. Coming back off spring break, and then you got some big stuff going on. Like I'm picking my new team next week with tryouts. Been going. But no,
That's
it
fire.
has been good. It's been real good. Um, Excited to be back here on Saturday. I've been trying to play catch up here and there, so I know with some stuff going on. I'm sure we'll get into it in some way, shape, or form. But otherwise,
Yeah,
like I'm excited to hear where the conversation goes. Um,
for sure. For
Come
sure,
on,
for sure.
it's about also.
Not
I mean, I guess you can call me this. I mean, right now you can only see me on OnJuSaturdays Saturdays, but I mean, I guess so. Um, I really love that. I gotta put that up real quick. And I'm so sorry, and I mean, I would kind of say that. I would kind of agree. So, appreciate the
facts,
love, but good to see y'all.
facts,
Welcome to
facts.
it's always good
That's
to
what's
see
up.
you.
Hey, that's what's up. And also got our Dina Magic in the building, also in the building. Let's go ahead and pull up. I see through Fashizi. I see. What's the word, family? It's good to see you. Happy Saturday, man. On Najee Saturday back in the building. Last one in March. What's going on?
Good morning. Good morning. Hope everybody's doing well. I survived the week.
it was a wild one. I was even we had an undivided attention yesterday. Dr. Lemney, that was a goated conversation to kind of close out the our run of undivided attention focused on the ladies for Women's Her Story Month for the month of March, and continuing, of course, too. So any ladies out there, anybody want to sit down with us for OhnahjiU undivided attention, let me know. I'll get you the link. But yeah, I was telling her like this week has just been like OD energy, just a
Mhm.
lot. It was a busy week, and I think everybody was kind of feeling that shift. Um, I don't know what is it the planets out there, something going on or what? But yeah, everybody's been kind of busy, feeling some energy shifts and stuff like that, and just yeah, I've been tired this week too. Not gonna lie, not gonna lie.
I mean, I kind of rode the wave a bit because I felt it coming. So
Mhm.
I
Okay.
didn't fight it too much, but it was like it was like getting jostled around all over the place as you ride the wave. So it was still a bit kind of wonky, but I'm glad I kind of preserved my energy because Friday was like a nice little day. Like nobody at work that distracts me was around. Nobody that gets on my nerves was around. Like it was very quiet. I could just sit there, kind of put my music on and get stuff done. And not that I necessarily enjoy working, but it was like not horrible. So
That's always a win, for sure, for sure.
Yeah, it
That's
was
too
it was
funny.
very much like we're coming off of a Mercury retrograde, so you know how that is. Mercury retrograde usually like throws stuff all out of alignment. Um, but the thing, especially tech wise. But like
Yeah.
coming out of the end of it, we're kind of getting back into the energetic kind of regular smooth waters. But it that was a tough transition, yo. Tough transition.
I hear that. All right, Nacho, it's good to see you, family. Thanks for popping in. About to roll out to the local No Kings protest. Yeah, I seen a couple homies on the overpasses and stuff out here. They was gearing up, got the signs, and Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. But yeah, be safe out there for sure. Yes,
He
sir.
said, he said it's interesting. That sounds like something I would say.
No, just I mean, out here, because I was just driving, I'm in LA, and like it just caught me off guard. Like I kind of, I don't know. It's like I said, this week's been busy. I kind of forgot all about it until they just reminded me. They were out here full force. Be giving a PC answer. Nah. No, no kings, man. No kings, man.
Yeah, it's
And we and
interesting living here because there's always something here, and they're always in the same spot. So
Mhm.
it could be for or against. It looks the same unless you walk up into it. So like you don't really pay attention to it, and you don't really go over there unless you work over there. So
yeah.
it's interesting when I see it in other places and it's a bigger event because it's kind of like background noise, unfortunately, here.
Mm, that's interesting. That's interesting. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, for
You want to give
context,
them
for
some
people
context?
listening, I live in DC. Sorry,
There
so
you go.
basically it's always a protest or a march or something here.
Mhm.
Which is cool though. We need that, We need that. We do. We do. Nah, I mean, hey, no kings, man. At least, unless we're getting back to, some queens in Africa. You feel me? No, just kidding. Hey, but we ain't trying to talk about that right now. But yeah, y'all. Oh, OhnahjiU Saturday. We here in the building. I don't think it will change anything, but I can't just yell from my keyboard all day. No, you're right. Got to get out there and get that action in. Sometimes got to get out there. Facts. I like it. I like that energy. Shout
I
out to
mean,
you,
you can
DJ.
you can you can get on stream and yell from a mic.
Yeah, but even
Just
that,
saying.
yeah, but yeah,
Just be careful out there. That's all I say to people
Correct. No, yeah. Just gotta,
because you might find yourself conscripted into the desert wars of 2026. Next thing you know.
hey, yeah, a lot going on, y'all. A lot going on. What's going on in tech, family?
Come on, segue.
No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. No, shout out to y'all. We're in this live stream journey now. So hey, we've always been, you know, the chat. Like if y'all want to have a conversation y'all want to talk about, we can get into it. That's how we started these OhnahjiU spaces, back in our Twitter space days. The floor is open. So yeah, we're not gonna shy away from any combo, but
But yeah, I feel like we got to get back to that. I was missing. I was actually thinking, not too long ago, how much I missed that. Just kind of like being able. I mean, I know you could do it on stream, but it was a little different. Just doing the audio spaces, just like boom, drop this space real quick and like jump in and see what's going on, and then end up being in a space for like 4 hours with. Talking about big stuff or small stuff or whatever it was. That was such a time. I
Well,
mean, I guess
let
you
me
can
ask
do
you a
streaming like
question.
that.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. My little delay is
I
messed up.
guess
I
you can
thought
do
you
streaming like
froze.
that, but I haven't really seen that happen yet. So I don't know. I might have to start some of that. Just do one of those just impromptu pop up. What y'all talk? Let's talk about something, y'all. Something, just something.
On that note, I was curious if either of you know, B, you might be more familiar if such a thing exists. But has anybody made something like, I know there's tools or different apps you can do audio communication on, but has anybody made something for streamers where, basically copying off the old radio vibes where like call me at 555 blah 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 and you have your listeners call in? Has anybody made something similar where people who are on whatever platform they're streaming on could say, hey, hit me where here, wherever online somewhere or whatever app, and then that way it pipes into the stream in the same concept? Has anybody made that? And if not, you could get on Cloud Code and make that today.
he said today. I think though, and I was having this conversation yesterday because one of my OG homies, we were streaming to LinkedIn yesterday, and he saw me over there, and he was telling me he's about to get his little live stream podcast, vibe going, and he was asking me about, like StreamYard versus OBS and different tools and stuff like that, and I told him, most of the kids, the gamer crowd, they're using OBS, and they're just like for the collaboration part and like the group calls, they're just doing Discord. They're just doing Discord calls, server VCs. And I think that's kind of like what they've been doing, aside from like, that old school dedicated radio thing where they just do it like that. Just have people pop in and cam on, cam off, whatever. Just sharing the Discord.
And that seems a heavy thing to install Discord just for that, right? So I'm thinking it could be something as simple as like it's called WRTC, and it's like a web technology where you can communicate in like fast, low latency, but like it doesn't take a lot of memory. And that's how a lot of like those quick little we saw a lot of this when they were doing some of these blockchain or web3 apps that they were trying to link them to tokens. And so you would have like a video conferencing component added to the app or something. And a lot of that was just using WRTC as the software behind it. So it would just take something existing in the middle that, everybody could just click a link, connect to, and be on the same RTC connection. And then link that into OBS. I'm giving it away for free, but it sounds like it's easily doable. You just somebody will have to pay for like the server that exists in the middle. If you wanted to offer that as a service to people to make money repeatedly. Otherwise, they could just install their own RTC, host it themselves, and there's nothing that you can really make proprietary and charge for. You following me? I know I'm using a lot of words.
You said what's RTC? You said WRTC?
Yeah, WRTC.
No, I do know that software exists to allow you to literally like call in. First time I saw it was maybe like a year or so ago with a couple of YouTube streamers that I watched who also use StreamYard. I think a lot of folks who use StreamYard can find like the ease of connecting third-party apps kind of into it through the mic input and the video input. But I mean, you could definitely have the functionality where you can call in and hear your voice while the streaming is going on, because there's been some big stuff, especially during the Diddy trial, with one of the streamers that I used to watch who would put the number up and people will call in. So I know that it's there. It takes some finagling, especially because it's third-party software. I do think that it's open source to get it all connected up, but once it's there and it's doable. So there still is, though, a lane to make it easier in some way, shape, or form so that people can do that. Because I think that would be cool. And it's not very widespread. There aren't a lot of people who are kind of doing that kind of call-in version.
Yeah, and they probably are all doing something clunky where you are using some app to do it. And I'm abbreviating it. I think if you were trying to Google it, you have to Google it as web RTC, WEB RTC, actually all together with no space. And that's how, if anybody's trying to look that up so they could actually understand what the hell I was talking about.
Yeah, I was trying to pull it up. No, that's interesting. I might have to, that might be my next little Claude Code situation.
And RTC is real-time communication. So basically, that's why I was saying it was facilitating all these like fake Zoom apps or things like that people were making. And anybody can use it. It's just a protocol software. It's open framework, so it's not like something that you have to pay for to use. I just thought it would be something lightweight and easy that people could use to kind of emulate that call-in type of vibe and allow for the same interaction that people had in the Twitter space. And it was easy because everybody was just on that platform, so you didn't have to provide a different method or a method at all.
Interesting. W protocols, W open source, very cool. I dig it, Z, for sure. Yeah, we might have to build on that. So, hey, I've been cooking on the Claude Code recently, not gonna lie, and found the homies over on Threads, a bunch of Claude Code threads going in, some engagement farming, some not, some helpful, some not. But yeah, that was pretty funny.
That's kind of the nature of everything around AI. Exactly that. Some engagement farming, some not, some helpful, some not.
Right.
Speaking of, that's a good segue. I know I've been seeing big just blurbs because, like I said, it's been such a week. I haven't been able to really dive deep into it, except kind of skimming over a couple of articles just now of seeing stuff with OpenAI, Sunset and Sora, and doing some stuff with like Disney and stuff like that. I think I did see that they shut Sora down because it was too expensive to run. Like, what's really good over here with Sam and all these folks?
They can't pay the bills. Like, I mean, that's the thing. It goes back to the same thing about the whole blockchain situation where, like, if there's no profit model, there's no business. Like, that's the same thing for them, right? So if they're not actually making money on these monthly memberships that they have people paying them, because it's basically nowhere near what people are actually using, then they can't just bleed money forever. And so if they're dependent on people funding them, VC money, and corporations funding them, okay, they still have limited funds when it comes to that. Like, they've been given funds, they can ask for more money, but those corporations aren't just going to keep giving them money forever and not get something back. And the original concept was the promise of like what it could be when they were the first ones out in the major way. They weren't the first ones to have a model, but the first ones to like jump out in a major way. Here it is as a user product that we're giving to people to use and kind of put that first foot out there. So they got a lot of money. The profit model just isn't there. And there are ways to make money. So you see them rolling ads out into things. And some people may not like that, but what's free, right? So I guess here we are. And Sora was not making them any money at all. It was costing them more than any other thing they had. And they're in this, neck to neck battle with Anthropic to be the top dog. And they can't look at their competitor and see how lean they are as an organization, how easy they can move, and how they're shipping. Anthropic has shipped. I was watching some video and this guy made a calendar, and I think he said they shipped like 80 something things in the last 30 days. Like, they're seeing this, right? They are seeing this happening. So they can't sit there and play around with Sora if they want to really stay where they are and let alone be the top dog ultimately. So they killed that. They're killing the adult entertainment chatbot version that was going to talk dirty to you. They're basically getting rid of all the distractions.
OpenAI had that?
They were going to come out with it. They officially announced it. It was a thing. They're not doing anything other than the chat and coding and like enterprise. They're basically going to copy the model of Anthropic. I think they're keeping the images because it's already baked in, and it's fairly simple. Like, they can bake that into the same model that does the text without it doing too much as far as resource wise. But video is crazy usage.
Yeah, I mean, I just came across this over on CNN, and it was talking about how OpenAI was burning through their money with Sora, like, keeping Sora running faster than it was coming in, and it said $15 million a day for that computing power. Like, that's out of hand. And then down at the bottom where it's talked about they made $13 billion in revenue, you're using probably most of that for something that you're not getting a return on. So it's making sense again for me, just coming into it and skimming over it and seeing it and getting more context from IC through, on top of seeing the article. But that is wild. I don't understand why they wouldn't have shut that down the second they saw they weren't making the money back sooner. Especially, I remember when Sora first came out and people were making the AI videos like with MLK on them, doing like kind of disrespectful kind of stuff, and they had to kind of shut down the using depictions of historical people and stuff. I mean, I feel like that's a red flag thing. Like,
yeah, but money isn't real. Like, it's not a problem till it's a problem. And if they're nearing end of their deals with certain companies like Microsoft, their deal with them is going to end at some point, and they have to renegotiate. Like, Microsoft can say, "Nah, forget you. We're putting all our eggs in Anthropic's basket." So they have to figure it out. And I think it was a lot of desperate like ideas just to try to make money. I don't think any of this was ever solid. And I'll give the same. Anthropic is somewhat guilty of the same thing to a very much smaller degree. The fact that they pushed out all those features in 30 days is a bit like, it's a bit crazy. Like, why are you introducing that much change in your users' interaction with your product? That's not necessarily good. How do you, as a user, that's why you're seeing people on the timeline saying like they're burnt out or they're finding it hard to keep up more than you have in the past. A lot of them are saying this. And I think a lot of it is not because they can't keep up themselves. It's because you can't keep up with the pace of the changes. It's one thing to like use AI to try to do your job as a developer. And yes, because it can code more things, there might be more things for you to review. But now you have all these agents, so you don't even have to review. You can make an agent to review, and then you review the final review. Like, there's layers, there's levels to this, right? So I think, just from speaking from my own perspective, I don't even do it for a job. Just imagining if I had to do it for a job, trying to keep up with the product that I'm relying on, having a new feature or a change to it multiple times a week, every week. Even if I like this tool, that's taxing on my brain in a way that maybe I don't even necessarily know until I'm on the other end of it. So I don't think it's a good thing. And I think it speaks to their own sense of some sort of desperation to feel the need to do it that way. Like, why wouldn't you just say, you know what, we're going to have a meeting and we're going to make this orderly and we're going to like package these releases like Apple does. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
I don't know, that just is weird to me.
Well, I mean, looks like a sinking ship to me, but hey, it is what it is. What you've always said though, keep a look at keep an eye on Google. What do you think is going to happen in that race? You think it's going to be Anthropic and Google battling it out, or?
I think all three of them will be exactly where they are for a while. Okay. I don't think OpenAI has too much of an ego about itself to be sold for anything cheap enough that somebody would buy it for right now. So they'll exist. Anthropic is good, so they don't have to worry. Like, they're good as long as the government doesn't like ban them all out. They're good. Google is the dark horse and always has been. And it's not only the dark horse, if you don't realize what they're packing. So they're slow, but they're there. And they're not going anywhere. And they are good. I think they haven't been the best at coding, but everybody doesn't code. So that doesn't necessarily matter. I think the Twitter hype cycle is driven by the people who want to talk about coding because they like to sell the concept of coding as a magic trick that you can do. So that's what drives their engagement. But to the general public, most of them might see some of that in passing, but they don't necessarily care. Like, they're not like, oh, let me make an app. So yeah, I think Google is doing it with that thought process in mind, that they have the world as a customer, not Twitter.
And that right there is a word, because like for me, that's really big, because I have continued. I know last week I was talking about I was helping teacher friends start to get into using Notebook for a lot of the things. And yesterday I took a half day to meet with some of my other department at other schools, and I was telling them, okay, yeah, I've done this, I've got this, I have this together and this together, and they were like, well, how have you put all this together? And I was like, through the Google AI tools that we have, like that are offered through our district. Do we not know? And again, walking people through and showing them. And then I think once I got done and I sat back and I was like, I've used all these tools that we have at our disposal. They're all Google because we're a Google district. And when I see you just said that, like that clicked in my head because there are so many people that are using those. And I do think that Google is rolling them out in a way that is keeping people from being overwhelmed, but just gently being like, hey, come over here and try this. Look at what you can do with this. Look at what you can do when you are working in Google Slides. Look at what you can do when you're working in Docs. You want to give it a try? Instead of like boom, 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 like go, 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 do this, do this, do this, make this, go. See, we put that out, we put that out. So I'm seeing that, you know, definitely what IC2 said. I'm definitely seeing that in kind of the mainstream zeitgeist because nobody else is talking about all this new stuff that's coming out. But I'm teaching people, you know, to use Google AI tools, and then they're turning around and using them themselves. In an easier way. Well, I don't think anybody really talked about, nobody I knew anyway outside of the Web3 space was talking about Sora or even used it, and or even really kind of know what's going on with ChatGPT and new models that are being released and all that kind of stuff. So I'm seeing that reflected big time.
Well, we also have a lot of the Chinese labs and companies that are putting the pressure out there with the open source things that really have made Sora irrelevant, because the thought process at the time when Sora came out was Midjourney and Runway were their competitors, and Midjourney wasn't even really there yet. They just, the thought process was it would get there because their quality was so good. So it was like, okay, well, Sora was out first, and I think Runway was the main competitor. Maybe this one Chinese lab was putting out samples, but nobody had access to it. So the thought process was that Sora would make money because it was out first and it could do something nobody else could do, or at least at a higher quality level, right? These Chinese models are coming out that you can run on your own, like on your Mac Mini, and make a video that's of similar quality. So you can't make money if it's free. And that becomes more popular of a talking point to use the free ones. And so then you have the other services. Like people, this is how people are making money on AI for some of you who maybe don't get how it extrapolates out from the companies. If there's an open source model that's Chinese and it's really cheap, and the only reason I say Chinese is because the Americans aren't really making anything open source right now. It was Meta, but they stopped. So here we are. But if there's cheap Chinese model out there and you can host it on a server online for mad cheap because it's so small, then you can become a provider yourself and then charge other people to use your hosted version of that little Chinese model, and you become the video generator for people because you are just running that model yourself for those people. And so basically you can open up a website, say generate your videos here, and the whole time you're just using that free model in the background to process their requests, and you charge them for that. And so that's how people really are making money. They're renting out the usage of these tools, and they're paying for the server to run it. So if anybody was curious about how all of that works, that's how it works. But yeah, that's what's happening, and that has diluted the value of Sora. And it also steps on Google's toes because they have good video products. But Google is a proper company that existed before AI. Google invented the transformer technology that all of this stuff runs on. Funny enough. So that's the difference in how they operate versus these other companies that are run by these younger people who all have basically just said, we're the smart guys who know how to use all of this stuff. Let's start a company. And that's what we're watching in real time, is a bunch of people who just got together to say, let's work together. And they're figuring out as they go, competing against a global like giant that is not going anywhere. They actually made the shit everybody's using. Yeah, Google's going to be there.
Google's going to be there. Google's gonna be there. Hey, Miss V with the 10-pack with the subskis. Appreciate you. That's lit. Boop, boop, boop. Hey, Miss V in the building. That's big love. That's big love. But yes, yeah, boss. She's involved with this coding program. They're killing it in the schools. Yeah, out here in Compton and branching out and all the good stuff. And it's a good time.
Nice.
Everybody's dying in the tech, bro.
That's dope.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's really cool. You know, there's a lot of cool stuff going on in LA, not gonna lie. You know, a lot of people trying to take matters in their own hands, and you know, the curriculums aren't gonna get it done. So we're gonna circumvent.
And that's what you gotta do. That's what you gotta do.
Yeah, and the coding isn't for everybody necessarily. You know, that's a given, but I think it's great when you can show people what they can do. For the people who get a spark and that are interested in it, it is like magic, you know. So it's great to be able to provide an environment for that kind of learning for the people who are hungry for it, and give them the opportunity to learn together. And yeah, that's so awesome. That's dope.
So, what a time we're in. I just got up a call earlier this morning. I don't know if you guys seen the notice. We had episode 3. Let's talk about ETH. I was trying to get it to stream out to the Twitch, but it wasn't working. Connection was failing on me. But we sat down with Pablo, and he is based in Ghana, and he's been, you know, traveling the globe, traveling the world, and, you know, building and hitting hackathons and stuff. He's in the Ethereum side, so he's not heavily blockchain, but this AI coding side, you know, he's talking to younger kids, and, you know, they're making jokes like, oh, you know, there's some old people out there that's going to be coding this stuff, you know, like, and it really kind of put the perspective of like just the whole way of software development is changing again, you know. And I had a conversation with my uncle. I found out he's a dev. And he's talking about some old languages that, you know, his company has to keep him on for, because he's one of the only ones that still knows the old code base and stuff. And I was thinking about that, like, okay, this is kind of that shift where it's like we're going away from the coding languages and obsolete languages and stuff like that to just the natural language models. And just like, I think just the era of, you know, what people, what kids, what humans, non-tech people as well too are going to be able to like make and build in a digital realm is like, it's insane. What I've been able to cook up this past couple of weeks has been insane, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? So it's all good. It's all good. Alex in the building. Go. What's going on, family? It's good to see you. Tez in the building. That's what's up. Yeah. All right, shout out to y'all. How's the Saturday going? It's good to see y'all, man. Tapped in with OhnahjiU Saturday. We here. Yes. So I don't know. I'm just, you know, I'm not gonna lie, y'all. You know, I see through get mad, but I feel old. I feel old right now. Like things are happening, and I'm like, I'm really trying to wrap my head around like where we're at, where we're going, trying to brainstorm the future, and it's like it's hard. It's kind of difficult, you know.
You shouldn't feel old because the 20-something-year-old is feeling the same way. So it's not, you don't feel that way because you're old. You feel that way because that's how the world is. That's how we all feel. Everybody's going through it. So I think the difference is that maybe young people have this easy ability to let it slide off of them and keep moving. Right. You know, because we had that too. So I think that's the difference. But I don't think there's anybody who is slightly aware of the world that doesn't feel a little bit that way.
And then I would also say, excuse me, that the old folks bring a different perspective into this, where you need the quick, like, Bill, put it out experimentation stuff, but then you also need somebody who's done all that, seen all of it before, or like, hey, I'm gonna let them kids handle that. I'm gonna be over here working on something that's really gonna benefit me in my life. Because the priorities from the 20-year-olds to the priorities to the 40-year-olds are completely different. So I feel like you kind of need all of it to be able to, the old folks, the ups might be the foundation, while the new folks are like throwing stuff at the wall to see what sticks. So you kind of need a little bit of all of it, because it's gonna benefit somebody, up and down the board, no matter what. I'm more interested right now with the stuff that the unks are building, because being an unk, I'm like, yeah, that's what I need. But this young stuff, this connect this and this through that and that, y'all got it. I just want to make sure everybody's having fun.
But it's funny you say that. It's funny you say that in the way you said it, because I didn't want to sound like I was like being overly cautious, but I do want to cautious people from feeling that this tech has to be used to create something for other people that's going to be like a game changer, or the next thing. I think that's a lot of that whole drop shipper, like that whole vibe of like trying to make this a product. So I think there's more value to be gained from people learning to use it in a way that, like Boss is saying, in ways that are useful to either them or their community, like for your profession, for your hobbies, for your parenting, like how you're doing with the college application process thing, like people who are making things that actually add value to their lives. I think learning it in that way, or encouraging the excitement in that way, is probably a safer route than just making it another thing to feed into like how to make money. Because I think if you get good at it, then you figure out you will figure out how to make money at it if you're good at using it anyway, if that's something that you want to do.
Same. I don't understand. It's crazy too, because I'm just like having these like full circle moments and seeing like some of the conversation in social media around AI, and it's like all the way back to like just like prompting, you know what I mean, and proper prompting and stuff. And we, there's been circles for a couple of years now that have been talking about like prompt engineering and different things like that, and and people are just like, okay, what's a prompt? What's a good one? And I don't know. Everything, it's just all cyclical, and I'm feeling a lot of that energy shift, especially this last couple of weeks, to where more and more people are getting involved. More and more people are dabbling with it, creating stuff, improving their workflows, improving their lives. Goal setting, journaling, just all kind of stuff. Even a lot of the young people who are using it like, okay, I'm just using it to get my homework done. Let me, take the assignment, toss it in there, export it. And my teacher said, you didn't write this. Oh, well, whatever.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine? Can you imagine if we had this?
We have it now, but yeah.
No, yeah. like being 13, 14 and having this, and they can't do nothing about it.
Yeah.
I wonder how smart they're all going to be on the other end of it. I wonder how smart they're going to be on the other end of it. That's the only thing, because if they don't actually learn anything other than how to avoid learning, well, that'll be very telling.
Well, I feel like they'll just continue. They'll just create tools that would help learning be easier, or help you. Hey, I just got a job as an electrical engineer, and I have no idea what to do. What's the first thing I need to do? Here's a picture of this whole thing. What do I do first? And then,
but what if the AI is smart enough that it's good? Like, it tells you what to do.
It will.
That's what I'm saying. They're gonna make that so that you can. You like every job AI. Just come
Well,
in
that's why they're
and take a
saying
picture of your classroom. I'm teaching third graders. What do I start with?
not a picture of the classroom.
That's what I'm saying.
Hit the kids. Make sure it doesn't offend anybody in this picture.
I'm crying. I mean,
I mean,
I
that's
feel
actually
like
not a bad. Some teachers
somebody's
could
gonna
use
do that.
No, for
Yeah.
real. Many teachers can use that.
Kids want to learn. I see it all the time. Teachers are going to have to change the assignments from busy work. Yeah, and I think, like you said, I see what are the kids going to know or learn if they're just using this to dodge the stuff that they're supposed to be learning. I think they're just going to be learning what they want to learn instead. Like they're just going to, and they are right now. They're looking up stuff. They're
Fortnite.
figuring things out, and for now, it's Fortnite. But I mean, there's a lot you can learn in Fortnite. Not gonna lie.
Kids are not supposed to necessarily that's the thing about being a kid. Like you're not supposed to have to worry about being interested in physics too hard. That's where you're supposed to kind of get molded into that. So they do need. It's like Amos V is saying that the education system has to figure out how to adapt itself to the times and actually do what it's supposed to do and educate them. I don't know. It's a weird thing. Like it may become a thing where we reevaluate what education looks like in full. Like if there is some mechanism by which they can have a device that has a AI in it and they work with that instead of a teacher, and you don't have to put them in school anymore. And because you work from home, you don't need daycare. Like, who knows what all of this is going to look like in 10, 15 years. So we may have a completely different way of being educated if we all have robots and, AI built into them. Maybe you don't need to even send them to school.
I mean, I would argue to say that they're already there. I mean, we've got Ms. V said they already are in high school full trade programs, so they're doing core and leaving with the AA in the trade. That's true, and that's been around for a lot of years now. But they continue to hammer home the importance of kind of like that interactive learning, or just letting people use tools at their level. And just this week, we just started a modern unit, and even though my kids enjoy and they understand, learning technical terms and learning 3 or 4 notable figures, that's not their favorite thing to do, to be in the classroom with dance. They always want to be in the studio with dance, which I understand. But we have these Texas assessments that we've got to do all this stuff about. And I was like, okay, how are we going to make these notable people interesting and kind of do the interactive learning? And we're able to share some of the notebook stuff with them. But y'all know me, and we got to get the teeth somewhere. So I've used AI, notably like the audio and the podcast tools on Notebook, to be able to take a source and make like a hot topic style podcast about these notable people and all the tea that they had going on in their lives. So then they were able to go back and listen to that and be like, oh, and I have really had people, a couple of my students be like, oh, that was interesting. Like she was a hot mess. And I'm like, yeah, absolutely. So I feel like we're going to get to that point in education where you got to kind of camouflage the learning and making it interesting. Some teachers feel like that's being entertaining, and school is kind of turning into an entertainment venue rather than a place of learning. But a lot of that is just kind of meeting folks where they are. And so we already have it, but I know we'll continue to see it. So I really will not be surprised in the next couple of years if we have just full instructional tools where you put in what you're talking about and it spits it out, and you can share it. And you can say, learn this however you want to, through this version, or this version, whatever you feel best.
What would be super cool is if you could change the voices for the podcast people after they make it, though. Let them make the podcast with them talking, but then you could change the voice and use some other voices, and maybe use some voices that sound of color.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Because I did listen and I was like, oh, this is cute, but you can tell it's not. we're not saying it in a way that I would want to hear it, but whatever, you can still tell that whoever was a hot mess. But
well,
yeah,
yeah, just
if
in
I
general, like
if I could put Wendy voice on it,
yeah,
oh,
like so you
done.
could make it more to the culture of the audience, not
Correct.
necessarily even just for us, but just other cultures as well. Like I think it would be helpful for Google to put that in there so that people could use it in that way. And I think it would be probably more of a connection to the kids if they felt a connection to the people talking, if they
Correct.
sounded a little cooler, so to speak.
Correct.
Most definitely. It's that representation piece.
Because I noticed, like, just as an aside, like a lot of the streamers, when Google's voices came out, a lot of the streamers were picking the black guy's voice, and they weren't black streamers. They just thought his voice sounded cooler. Like, so they just wanted to hear that talking to them versus some high pitched nasally sound.
That's my theory. That's my theory's been like that for a while. I was like, that's the person I want to hear talking to me. I don't know these other people.
And a lot of people, once they got rid of the what's her face, Scarlett Johansson voice on OpenAI, pretty much they all switched to the black lady voice.
Hey, can I buy?
I mean, but are the schools going to get on board with that? Because I mean, I feel like this is another tool that we could use to better educate kids. Calculators, internet, YouTube. The schools is all fighting back on that. Like, do you think this is going to be different because teachers and admin and stuff can use this tool as well? Or do you think we're just going to see the same cycle of like just trying to fight tech and the innovation again?
Well, they're giving them the tools to use. Like that boss is saying, like they have given them the Google Suite to use as educators. So I think they maybe don't.
Only one rocking it.
And that's the thing. They maybe don't know how they would even use them. So some of it is like, okay, well, here. Google gave this to us. Use it if you want to. And that's probably more of the energy than anything. But I think when you use it, boss, part of me wants to say, maybe not while you're doing it, so you don't get interrupted, but as you are prone to do, you probably already have it documented, but document what you're doing, and then make it public in some way so that there is a discourse about it. And maybe it's at a point where you aren't doing that anymore. So it's not like somebody can do something about it. It's like, okay, here's what I did and the kids liked it. You should try it too. I only said that to say, to B's point, like if they have a problem with it, I wouldn't want you to catch smoke. So that's why I'm like, do it after you're done. But but yeah, I think it's important to share it because it will serve as a model for how to use it in a way that will extend beyond just the people that you have immediate contact with. They can use that to teach other people.
Absolutely. And I mean, that's why I think it's been so eye-opening for me to to be the first introduction for some of these people, especially like yesterday, the other teachers that I were working with, they're all younger than me. And I was like, oh, it kind of threw me off a little bit because I was like, oh, well, I thought y'all were already in this to win it like that. But I will say it has taken me a moment to look at the tool, use it once or twice, and step back away from it to see how I can integrate it into my lessons and my curriculum that I sometimes think is what kind of off-puts others. And so to be able to see that in an actual use case, because when we do have these workshops, they literally say it's a slide presentation, but they never walk you through how to do it. They never show you how to integrate it. They say, hey, this is what you can do with it. Go and give it a try. Rather than this is what you can do with it. Let us show you, and then let us show you how to integrate it. And so I think being able to see that across the board from the teacher side and the admin side would probably kind of curtail some of the stuff that B was talking about, where there's such a that there's some friction, like seeing it and it's trying to establish it. If you could actually see it, see how to use it, and see how it changes education for all your students, that might be a bit better. So it's kind of like giving me some stuff in my brain that I'm kind of already working with. I'm like, okay, maybe that could be interesting to actually show some people and see. And I'm already doing some stuff when I'm compiling information, for the next couple of years and things like that. So kind of being able to be like, okay, we have this is how you do it. Let's walk it through real quick. Here's a lesson plan that you could use to potentially do so. Because I think something like that would be amazing in like a history class when you're talking about when you're talking about a lot of people, you're talking about a lot of events, and being able to take this infographic, take that little part right there, put it in Google Slides and move stuff around so students can put timeline stuff where they're supposed to. And I'm like, I don't see how come they're not using it. But it does kind of take a lot of thought sometimes to step back away from it. And in the way that you already have, and the way that you're already presenting it, to then present it in a new way. But that new way is going to benefit more people than what you've normally been doing.
This sounds like a job that you should have at Google. So I'll need you to start working on the proposal for this position at Google, because somebody needs to be the liaison to the educators that they are giving this tool to. And so you're going to make the connection to this the same way they have these positions out here called developer relations. And so I was thinking as you were talking to connect the dot. I'm thinking in my head, from Google's perspective, they would say, well, we have all these great YouTube videos that show you how to use all of this stuff. And so that they would probably think, well, okay, well, you should be able to just go on YouTube and see. But I think it's not necessarily just that simple. And you also know from firsthand experience being an educator using it. So yeah, that to me, it sounds like there needs to be either from the institution level, like the school district level, who's introducing these tools to the educators, maybe from that level, but also I think from Google's side, if they're offering it, someone who can create content specifically geared towards that community and also be available to work with institutions. And this is a direct mirror to what I see on some of these AI companies like Replit, or other companies have these developer relations positions, and they have specific people that they roll out to be the forward facing people who create content around their product, but also will work behind the scenes with people, to set things up. It just seems like a layup. Like, you can do it. You'd be great at it. You're already doing it. Let's go, boss.
Bits and pieces. I know. I got you. Like it, and that was kind of already kind of flipped the switch in my head when I was talking about it. I was like, oh, like especially. Now look, you're gonna ask me how to use these Google tools in science class, Lord Jesus. But again,
but it would be fun to watch. It would be fun to watch you figuring out how to use the Google tool to connect to science, and you would get it there, and you would make it valuable content, and it would be fun to watch. And like that's the whole thing. Like that's why I can see how it would work in that setup. And and again, like whether it's to your institution level or district level or Google, like I see it at all levels, really there being some connection to that. Or what's this? It needs to go to districts because that's who yes. yeah, I do think there needs to be some ownership at that level.
Sorry, I was moving quick.
About how the content or the tools can be used instead of just shoving them at your staff and saying, here you go. And then to even do a presentation, like who's doing the presentation, boss, that you're talking about? Is that coming from the school district?
We have what we call a media specialist, aka that's the new word for the librarian. Who who kind of pushes it out, and we've had a couple of PDs, like cohorts during the day, during conference periods, and through CLC periods and things like that, where we will go but it's still, our librarian is great. She's amazing. She uses all the tools to make a much of the media that she sends out, but you never see how it's done. It's, hey, this is we got another email, I believe, this week talking about Notebook LM, and it was a kind of like newsletter with a clickable link that went to a Google page that just kind of listed some things that you could do with Notebook LM instead of potentially being a video or an opportunity to set up a Calendly so she can come and work with you during your conference to be able to walk you through the process and things like that. So, like, again, just kind of seeing it from this side, and then just those two things that I just said, I think that would benefit a lot of teachers far and beyond, because I mean, especially with the video, but if you're available to go and walk them through in 15 minutes, how to add your sources, how to do this, and how to integrate it all into your next lesson, that would probably be much more beneficial than, hey, in this newsletter, here's the link. And then here's a Google page that just shows you, that talks about all the great stuff that you can do, and kind of puts the onus on you to go and figure out how to do it.
Yeah, and maybe if they take suggestions, if they want to do something that is like video, they should experiment with like a YouTube type live stream where it's not limited and it's just comments, like how we're on Twitch, like it might be hard to keep up with everybody, but you don't try to keep up with everybody. You just catch what you catch. I saw this one, I'm gonna read this one. Get your readers on, Gladys. Let's go.
Come on, Gladys.
Every school got a glass.
We sure do. That's why I laugh hard, because we surely do. And she teaches the IRL class, so she is preparing kids to go out into the world.
But yeah, I think they should experiment with some of that so that people can feel interactive, even if it is a video, and it's not I feel like the Zoom chat is sometimes hidden away. So I don't know if Google, we don't really use Google or Microsoft Teams at work. We're all Zoom, so I forget how their chats look. But if they look more like a Twitch or a YouTube, where the chat is just always there on the side, maybe those are better interfaces and they feel more. I would just say something like that would be more interactive, and something where somebody is actively like looking at the comments and actually just making things in real time that actually address what people really have questions about, and being able to answer those questions would make it more valuable than just a video, because it's just another video.
I actually like that. I feel like that would be a really engaging presentation for PD. You had everybody bring their Chromebooks, and you literally are on live stream and letting them like type that stuff in as they go, and be like, okay, let's go try it. Let's go figure it out. Let's go walk through it together. I really like that.
Well, I mean, you can be the one.
Thankfully, we are at a place. I do teach at a school with administration, especially our principal, who is like, "Oh, you want to try it? Okay, yeah. I mean, let's give it a try. Let's go." And we've had some good stuff that happens from that. And they're already planning PD for the summer. They're already planning PD for the upcoming year. So I might gotta jump on there and be like, "Hey, I might not be in the building, but I can be in the building."
Yeah, I need to take some of my own advice and start getting some stuff packaged and set up to try to not sell myself, but to sell myself. Yeah. because I'm getting a little burnt out of what I actually do, and I don't, I never really wanted to do anything that was very technical at work, but now it seems like it would be a lot easier because the stuff that I'm dealing with, if the government worked, if there was actual legislation, and things, got done at that level, it would make my job a lot easier. But since it's not, yeah, I would love to just talk to people about tech all day. I'd do it now. Sure, why not?
Face to face or screen to screen?
Whatever. I don't at this point. It was never something I thought I would want to, like, only because my nerdiness about it would probably only get excited to talk to other people who are at that same level, right?
Yes.
So if I was like in some sort of lab tinkering with something, sure, but to work with like anything that was teaching people, no, that would just grate on me. I could do it in a session, sure, but not like every day, all day. It just constantly like having to like use that part of my brain. That would just drive me crazy if I could never like talk to a peer. You know what I'm saying?
I do.
So
I do.
Only because this space moves so fast, you have to be able to communicate with somebody else about it that understands it at some point. And if you don't, then who you feel like you don't have anybody to talk to about it. So that's the reason I say that, not because there's any inferiority of people not knowing. Everybody has to learn, but you still have to be able to talk to your peers at some point. But yeah, at this point, yeah, I would do it. And there's a lot of AI stuff happening around me in this area in DC. So there are opportunities. So I mean, yeah, I have to package myself. I mean, you all know I know my stuff, but I have to make it so that it's obvious on paper.
And I mean, and I feel like this might be a collaboration moment, or at least a brainstorm moment, because I am not trying to be back in this classroom. So, but if there was a way, I would have very much been interested in looking for ways to be a little bit closer into the tech stuff, and maybe tech/education a little bit closer than I am now, especially because these last 2 years I've been in the classroom, I felt very disconnected from it. I'm like, is this the way? Do I, am I headed in the content creation direction? Am I headed in another direction, quote unquote, building something in the way that you ain't gonna find me vibe code? I mean, maybe
never say never, because
I
think
know
you just haven't done it.
I haven't done a lot of it. I've played around here and there, but then again, I'm like, I don't. Again, I know I am a student of the I-C3 way. You just talk to it how you normally talk to it, but then when it spits this stuff out, and I was like, I don't know how to fix this. Do you know how to fix this?
That's the whole point.
And I'm like, okay, y'all got it. Y'all got it.
I think once you have the experience where you make something that you actually wanted to make, or that you would actually find cool to use, and the experience is not a headache for you, like you don't feel lost in it or frustrated in it, I think it'll click for you. I think it's nothing that you can't figure out for any of this stuff. For both of us, I feel like bandwidth is an enemy. If you don't have the time to commit to something, then you can't really put your energy into it fully. And we both don't like the half-ass stuff. You don't want to do it like shitty work. So, you probably rather do nothing at all as far as like something related to creating content around tech than to do it the right way. So that's the same way I feel. I struggle to keep up with some of the stuff, but I always catch up. But there's no way I could feel like I needed to be like the person on the pulse of things, because I might be a week behind, so I can't be the person on the pulse.
But being on the pulse is tough as it is, because again, you got to be on it. I feel like where I feel like AI is, and especially AI through social media, is where at the top of that past market, like where all the NFT day trading stuff was. Like I feel like to be on the pulse, there needs to be an AI daily news network, podcast, video, something that I'm sure somebody out there is doing to be able to stay on the pulse of it, like up to the minute, because as we said already, so much stuff is getting pushed out. This is changing over here, this is changing over here, these people got in trouble because they made this, and all the rest. So kind of being, I'm gonna let y'all happen. I'm gonna let some opinions populate a little bit. I'm gonna let a couple of articles that can give me a TLDR, and then if it's something interesting to me, I'll go jump in that way. Because being up to the minute or right on the pulse of some of this, it feels like the New York Times newsroom sometimes.
Well, it's funny you say that there needs to be somebody who's doing them weekly or daily. Boss, there's 75 of them. Like that, it's so many of them all trying to be, the signal through the noise, because engagement is how people get paid now.
Yeah.
That they become the noise, right? If everybody's all yelling the same thing at the same time from the same online locations, it all kind of cancels itself out. And so you basically just pick your own bubble to step into for your personal echo chambers. This is how we all use social media now. And it's no different in that regard in terms of how you consume any other content, like how you learn things. There's people who learn through TikTok and, or through YouTube. They're different. So, I think it's just a matter of cycling through whatever we got to go through this social media period of mankind's history. We're going to have to get through this. And I don't think I've been real leery of people making predictions or people who pretend to know. Because I really feel like we don't have a way to, nobody knows. We are all just hanging on for the ride right now. And I think people who have wealth or power try to influence outcomes, but even still, they don't have a way to know what's going to happen. So I feel like we don't need the podcast about the daily of AI. That's just my opinion. Like, I feel like we should just let that shit come to us how it comes to us, unless it's something you need for your work, or it's something you're personally interested in. If it doesn't really impact your life, I feel a lot of people are trying to chase it because they feel there's some opportunity there. The same
That's
way,
true. That's very true.
With a lot of the Web3 stuff, not because it had any real value to their lives, or it was something they were personally interested in outside. Like, they weren't interested in financial tech otherwise. So yeah, I think if people should try to find other ways to enjoy life than trying to chase the next thing. That's just me on my little soapbox, my little touch grass thinking. As the tech person, right? I just got to a point where it's like I see a little bit behind the curtain, and there's so much engagement driving behind a lot of this communication that is put out to us, and the way things are dropped. It's about the dopamine, like Anthropic dropping those things like that is to keep the timeline jumping and talking about them, and keep the dopamine up and just drive the engagement. It's not because it's necessary for the technology. It's not because it's useful to anybody, really. And so once you kind of get burnt out from that, I can't step away completely, but I have a bigger and broader appreciation for non-tech things. I would just put it that way.
I would agree. I mean, I'm not deep off in especially the AI portion of it. But I have been in other ways, in other pockets of tech. Um but yeah, that's again something to think about, because for me, when I don't have the bandwidth and I go to like pull away from it, I'm like, okay, how am I going to connect to something that is outside of this that I am interested in, and I've found some of that as well. And it's not necessarily anything new; it's just continuing kind of on a track and giving myself a side project that has nothing to do with a screen, some coding, something, anything tech wise. And that I'm like, okay, I feel like a person now, outside of what I'm doing every day, and then other things that I'm trying to do in tech. There is this one thing that has nothing to do with it that I've started to find focus with, that I feel like regrounds me as a person. Because sometimes with so much coming at you, whether that be with what you do or in this realm, there's always a lot. So being able to step away from that has been very much beneficial, especially for this mental over here, oftentimes.
Yeah, I can definitely say the same. I mean, I think it's all about whatever it is your intention leads you to do. And on that note, I would like to point out, if you hadn't heard about it, the intention of the Doodles guy who said he's all in on NFTs. Did you see that story?
No, I did not. Now what?
Yeah. And so he's like, yeah, no, he's all in. I saw, hold on, let me find it. It's like co-founder of Doodles says he's all in on NFTs. I meant to post it in the Discord. Hold on.
B said that tech was cooking him a little bit, so I mean, we gonna hang out until we circle back around. I see him back over here. You want me to add you back, B? Maybe I'll wait for a thumbs up. Give me. Oh, hold on. Gotcha. He's moving kind of slow. I get it. I kind of feel like that's me as well. Sometimes when I have the Twitch up over in another tab, and I'll go and I'll look at it, and I'm like, why am I frozen? So I don't know if that's my own Wi-Fi something or other. I probably do need to upgrade, especially if I'm one that want to do this a little bit more, because this light and this iPhone setup, that be cooking me. Like we said, the text can him. So but no, I am very interested to see or to hear some more about was it well, I'm pretty sure I thought Burnt Toast pulled away from it, maybe, but I do think he came back. That I know that's the artist, so I'm not super sure.
No, it wasn't the artist. It was like a Silicon Valley guy.
Oh,
who was one of the co-founders. Like he must have put up the money or something. I'm just trying to find it. And I say 75 million things a day. But I know I saved this specifically. I've been trying to work on streamlining where I save things so I don't have to do this where I'm checking 7 places, because I could have put it in any one of them. Sotheby's. Okay. Yes. That's what stood out to me. Not a founder. Okay. I needed to find it because I had some things mixed up there.
Gotcha.
Sotheby's CEO banks on NFTs, agrees to buy collectibles platform Candy Digital, and he is the chairman of Doodles. That's where the Doodles tie in.
Oh, gotcha.
And I will put the link there.
Let's see. Got it.
Yeah, he's agreed to buy most of the assets of the digital collectibles platform Candy Digital, which I have not heard of, but perhaps B has heard of it.
Welcome back. All right, so
you good, B?
Yes. No.
Welcome back.
We heard your test. You said no.
Really?
Oh, you heard it? Okay, well, yeah, my computer's freezing left or right.
No, we heard you.
But
you were good. You were good. You know we're behind the wall, so I mean, let's see.
It's all good. You can get situated. I just heard you speaking, so I thought you were back. But yeah, I was bringing up this blockchain NFT article. Look what you missed, right?
I heard you.
But yes, have you heard of Candy Digital before? I have not.
No.
Okay. Well, the chairman of Doodles has purchased it, and he has a heightened interest in keeping NFTs alive. What does he say here?
So,
you got it. Go ahead, boss.
Chairman of Doodles and former CEO of Sotheby's. And, Sotheby's has, for a while, been on kind of a digital art kick where they have been acquiring NFTs and digital art to kind of create almost like a museum slash exhibition of general art that was kind of going on last summer a lot. I do remember reading kind of and talking about a lot of that, but he's acquiring on-chain collectibles company Candy Digital. On-chain collectibles. Come on, new words. Come on, not even new words, old words, aka NFTs. Home to some of the biggest brands in sports and entertainment, hoping to revitalize the platform and push digital collections forward, collectibles forward. Oh, look at his little doodle AI profile pic. So he's big in Web3. The NFT platform was some stuff from Gary V. Okay, all right. With partnerships from MLB, DC Comics, Netflix, aiming to bring digital collectibles from big brands to super fans. So it's giving very much that time where we were all here and we were all looking for NFTs, like ways to hang on to the big brand stuff. His plans for Candy are scarce. He'll be emphasizes once a sweet new chapter. Come on, journalism. Not a fresh start. Suggestion that past users and collectors have a lot to look forward to. So it's so vague, but I would love to know. Thanks, Board 8 Gazette, for this. I would love to know what. God,
that's
I know, right? But it was only under a paywall. I would love to know what plans would be to potentially bring this back.
I just want to know the same thing I always wanted to know. Who's the customer? Not the theoretical customer. Who is the actual customer? The person right now that's buying that in big numbers.
NFT collectors.
Who are those people? Where are they?
Now, they are still out there. I mean, yes, CryptoPunks are still moving. They still move daily. Now they're still moving. Pudgies are still moving. Apes are moving, not as fast, but apes are still moving. It's some of those quote unquote what they want to call you blue chip blue chip projects that are still moving, but I mean they're still moving. There's still some action in the market. Maybe not as much. There are still people releasing projects and things like that, whether they're PFP projects or some type of art, um, or even trying to bridge that digital collectibles with other genres like music and stuff like that. I just don't feel like we see a lot of it because that's not what the focus right now is.
So I think some of that is as an investment vehicle, which is not to me the same as somebody who's interested in collectibles.
Y'all, this investment vehicle kill me.
Well,
Go ahead.
I mean, I say that. I mean, like that's why people are buying them is because they want to make money, flip it, make money off of it. Like it's not because they have any connection to it, want it, personally. Like they don't really care about the NFT itself. It's just something to make money. Versus, and there's a part of that in the world of collectibles for sure. As somebody who collected comic books for years, like I have boxes of them in my basement. So I understand like the collecting something for the purpose of really having a value for it, but also hoping it makes money too. So there's also that component. But I don't think those you can't really use as an example based on what he's saying he wants to use NFTs for with those relations. He didn't give, like you said, the details were scarce. But the things that he pointed out, or the things that were pointed out in the article, at least, lended itself to more of the thing that was always kind of touted back in the day, which was, that it could really have these relationships with big brands because people could use them as collectibles for those treasured IPs, right? Like Disney, Marvel, DC, all these things that like they're thrown out in this article. And I'm just asking, is there really a customer base for that? For people who just want a JPEG that's certified in some way? I know that there's people who talk about that as an option, right? But outside of people who are looking, and there's nothing wrong with people looking to make money with NFTs. It's cool. If you can, good on you. But just for this sheer like collectible concept, I don't see the customer. I think there's room for it in the gaming world, but it seems like they're trying to make the connection to things outside of gaming. And I think that's where it falls apart, because I think people connect physical things to those concepts. And so it's hard to make them see something valuable where you have taken away the physical and you said you just get a picture now, versus somebody who's already in a digital world and it's all pictures anyway. So it's not a challenge to make them see it as valuable. They already give value to digital assets because they were playing with them.
From pure speculation, it would seem to me, if he is trying to do what Candy Digital has done in the past, that there probably would not be a very large market for it. And again, speculation. What I'm thinking of is not, instead of not a JPEG being connected to Netflix, but if there was an NFT that you could hold that is on the blockchain that in some way, shape, or form could be connected to, Netflix to prove that you owned it, that could give you 30% off your subscription fee every month. That would be beneficial because Netflix is actually just raising it another $1, I think, pretty soon. If you could do something like that, absolutely. But otherwise, just like, collecting it and having that be your entry ticket to the Netflix house, which we have one here in DFW, that's like an entertainment venue, where you're headed through the venue that has the branded IPs from all the big Netflix shows. That's not really going to sway a lot of people. And so perhaps he would, bring something newer, better into it that could bring customers. But, like I said, pure speculation on it. But I would hope that since he has experience with Google, and is not Google, Doodles, excuse me, and is ex-CEO of Sotheby's, who is very much on their digital art tip right now, that he would have an idea of something that came to digital that they could use to, to infuse more interest and energy into this. Because it seemed like he's really, he has a good understanding of what's going on in the market, hopefully. So we'll see. We love to speculate, and I've just gave him a really awesome idea. So go get the people and help them figure out how you can bring some of this back. But for right now, until we see some of that, it's not really going to move the needle when it comes to on-chain collectibles.
I was about to say you gave all that away for free. But
I know, right? But that's just one. But there could be more, because if you are really doing this, you have those connections with so many other well-known, IRL physical brands. But also, I see this is the stuff that we talked about in 2022 when I first got into space, that we haven't really seen people use. We haven't seen people actually incorporate this actual use case.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I think that's an easy way to make it valuable, and it seems obvious, but maybe it's not to people who haven't really thought about it and only have looked at it as an investment vehicle before, and not as a thing to actually use. If you haven't used that part of your brain for it, if it's still being looked at even by this guy as an investment vehicle in some way, he might struggle. So I hope he, having worked in the art world, is open to creativity when it comes to how to use this, and isn't stuck in just the whole like NFT as an image concept. I think being chairman of Doodles would reflect some flexibility with that, because with their whole AI thing, like they're obviously trying to figure out some way to do something. I don't know what it is they're trying to do necessarily, but they're just trying to stay active at a minimum. So that shows that somebody's trying to keep it moving. I don't know if that's him, because I'm not familiar with their structure. Yeah. But yeah, I think it's not necessarily that I don't see there's a use case for the tech. I just struggle to see the customer, the way that they market it. That's all. Mm-hmm. And I think if they figure out a use case themselves, the people who want to use it and make it a consumer thing, I think there's room for it, but they have to figure it out. I've always thought that phygital is your play if you're not in gaming. If you can't really, this is either for fintech or gaming. Outside of that, maybe music, if people want to sell music again outside of physical media, there's a world for that if you wanted to do it. But it seems cumbersome as an artist to do it for blockchain, because you don't really need it. Copyright already protects you. You don't need the blockchain to protect you. Yeah. So it seems a little redundant to them when they can just put it on some service somewhere. So I think there's some things that still have to get figured out around the tech of the blockchain, how fast it can go, how cheap it can get. And all of that's happening. No matter what all of us say, I see those stories, and I see that that's happening. It does get faster. It does get cheaper. So yeah, I mean, I think blockchain and AI both will have a similar future as infrastructure technology, and not even things that people have to debate about or have these kinds of conversations, but they'll just be things like the internet is just a thing.
you were saying that, and I had my train of thought for it, and I lost it. Oh, and also to kind of add to my point a bit from earlier, we haven't really seen it happen successfully yet. I know that Starbucks had their Odyssey program that was kind of experimental, that tried to put a little bit of the NFT thing almost in that way. Like, okay, you have this, it's on chain, and we can follow that you have all these, and you have this NFT that can help bring you into new IRL experiences with Starbucks and the coffee, as well as giving you some inroads with the things that you can do with your coffee locally, through orders and things like that. But that was discontinued in 2024, probably kind of circling back to what we were talking about with OpenAI and Sora. It probably got too expensive to manage because there weren't enough people taking advantage of it. So we're going to need something really big, a lot of people are interested in, to even pull them in the direction to be interested in it in the first place. So wishing the best of luck, but it could be cool, but he's got to kind of come in with something new and different, or at least get the people on board who will help change the mindset, the mind frame, and the youth around it, and make it less, and alleviate a lot of the friction to actually really go somewhere with it.
Yeah, I just thought it was interesting and wanted to point it out to you all. My first thought when I saw it was, is this a conflict of interest in some way? Because he's chairman of Doodles. Would he be trying to like inflate the value of his own NFTs or something like that? But I didn't see anybody mentioning concern of that in the couple of articles I saw. So I was like, okay, I guess it doesn't matter. Because most of them all kind of said that the NFTs have no value. So I guess they weren't worried about him inflating.
They got the value enough for him to change his profile pic to a Doodles AI rendering. But I mean,
well, no, they're all citing that same article. I think it was Forbes or somebody had a study recently, and that's what they basically said, that like all of them have no value, quote unquote, or whatever. So
yes,
they all kind of would land there and not go into any issues about conflict of interest, because I guess they felt like it wasn't relevant.
Very much remember the uproar. Very much remember the uproar that week, because it was big. It was quite big. Well, all right. I mean, we've been over here a good solid hour and a half. I know B had some technical issues, as it happens from time to time. But I mean, I'm pretty sure we can wrap it up from there. We talked about some great stuff, from the OpenAI and Sora shutdown, to a solid conversation about AI and education, and then rounding it out with some old school NFT stuff from I See Through.
What's an NFT?
Exactly. That's what I was getting ready for. But you came in with some good stuff that brought an awesome conversation. But yeah, I mean, as we kind of wrap it up, I think, do any final words for you, or are those your final words? What's an NFT?
What's an NFT?
There we go. Thanks for joining us, y'all. I See Through, thanks for joining us. Always good to see you. B was in for a while and kind of in and out. I know he's over backstage, just keeping an eye out. He says he's crawling, and I understand that life, that's tough. But always thanks for coming in, getting the conversation going for us, and having a good time. It is day 233 of 365. This train is still going, and it ain't gonna stop until it gets to the goal. So continue to come on over and hang out with us over here on Twitch at OhnahjiU, probably in a lot of other different places as well. Don't forget, we are over on YouTube as well. These live streams go up on YouTube as well as clips, smaller clips, in case you don't want to watch an hour and a half of a conversation, smaller things that we found pertinent to put out into smaller sections so you can digest it a little bit easier and a bit quicker. Those will be over on YouTube. And otherwise, continue to hang out over here for these daily streams with B. We just finished with our undivided attention with Dr. Lemmy yesterday. I didn't get an opportunity to do that because I was all over the place, but I know it was a great conversation. So I'm excited to go back to listen to that probably this afternoon or this evening. But until then, you can catch us back here on Saturdays, OhnahjiU Saturdays with Ohnahji B, myself, dear Dean of Communications Boss 2.0, and Dean of Magic AI and all things tech. I see through. But yeah, thanks for joining us on this good Saturday. It is a little bit cooler here in DFW. I'm not sure what it's hitting over in Cali and in DC, but you know, it's springtime. Spring sprung last week. Go out, get some good fresh air, and enjoy yourselves. Touch grass, and then we'll see y'all back here in front of the screen in these tech streets real soon. All right, y'all. Let me do my B version. Peace.